final score, FC Groningen 3, Wrexham 1. The pre-season is done in terms of anything happening in public at least. And I stand by what I've said all along and what I say every year. You judge a pre-season by how you begin the season. 3 defeats to end the campaign, but I don't think that's a major issue as long as we've got what we needed out of these practice matches. And although we lost this game 3-1, I felt like we did get what we needed out of this game. I mean, firstly, let's not forget, Groningen are a side in the top division in the Netherlands. Last season was their first season back in after promotion. And, quite late on in the campaign, they had a chance of making the cut for the European playoffs. They're decent. And that was a strong team that they put out. Pretty much their first team, if not completely their first team. Very young, but then their entire squad's very young. And I thought they gave us a really good quality test. I don't think there'll be a huge amount of difference between them and what we come up against in the Championship. So why am I happy when it's a 3-1 loss? Well, firstly, there was some sloppy defending that conceded those goals. And I know I'm being a bit naive saying that. I'm fully aware, we defended well apart from the goals we let in is pretty nonsensical. But yeah, the overall performance was good, and the 4 new signings that we saw were very impressive. So with more to come, no doubt, that was, I think, a pleasing building block and a step up maybe from what we saw down under. Anyway, we played 2 games back-to-back. No way to watch the first one, I'm afraid. We lost that one 1-0 with a pretty strong team. And then it was a team which looks, I think, a bit more like what we'll line up at Southampton against a Groningen side that should have been behind early on. A big opportunity, ball down the left-hand side to Windass was cushioned beautifully by him to Max Cleworth, who was up just inside the box, left of centre. And he drilled it wide. The keeper had no time to move or anything. And you could see that Max was really frustrated by missing it because it was a great chance for a centre-back who certainly knows where the goal is, as we're all aware. But Wrexham were using this tactic of playing long balls over the top quite a lot. It was Kakache who picked out Windass. And it was successful because we were running in behind. We'd get the goal that way. The problem for us was the Groningen were doing a similar thing. They were hitting a lot of diagonals, a lot of balls in behind the wide centre-backs as well, and they were getting joy from them. Although the next chance, which also came from a long ball, was a little more rudimentary. Free kick by Tom O'Connor put into the box. Judges took it, the goalkeeper, and he immediately hit a straight kick right over the top. Taha, who was the only new signing that Groningen had on, 20-year-old on loan from SV20, who looked really good, sprinted through the middle, got goal side of our last defender, Ryan Barnett, who was back defending from the corner. The moment Barnett let it bounce, and I don't think he had much choice because it was just perfectly dropping in behind him, he was in trouble. He grabbed Taha's arm. Taha went down. Referee waved play on. I think it might have been one of those decisions a referee makes because it's a friendly and, well, there's not too many consequences. And I'll take the less controversial option and allow the managers to have 11 against 11 because Barnett certainly pulled Taha's arm. And if you judge it to be a foul, it's got to be a red card. They're on the edge of the D, right in the middle, and there's nobody else anywhere near. So it's a professional foul, if it's a foul. So we rode our luck on that one. But 3 minutes later, our luck ran out when we were opened up a bit disappointingly, in all honesty. Windass carrying the ball forwards, but rather ran into a tackle by Ressing on the halfway line. And the Groningen's keeper was sharp to quickly shift the ball out to the left-hand side. Taha carried it forwards. Van der Voort was running through the middle and was pointing where he wanted it. Taha slid it into perfection. Van der Voort drilled it inside Okonkwo at his near post, 1-on-1. Good, powerful finish. Wrexham will be a little disappointed to allow a striker to run onto a straightish ball but down the channel as easily as he did. There was a hint of offside about it, but having gone back and paused it a few times, I don't think he is offside. I think the worst he is level. It was close, but Wrexham, rocked by that, could have gone behind further moments later. Willemsen, the brother of the Birmingham Willemsen, also an Icelandic international, playing up front was a useful battering ram for them. And he did really well, getting the ball back to goal on the edge of the D, right of centre, turning and hitting a left-footed shot, trying to put it into the top left far corner. Just put too much on it and it went over. To be fair, after that fright, Wrexham responded really well and were knocking on the door. Got the equaliser in the 22nd minute. Again, a long ball over the top. This an absolute beauty. Dobson allowing a bit of space in his own half. Lifted it over the Groningen defence. Windass may well have been offside. There's no footage that shows where he was when the ball was struck. He'd certainly got goal side of the defenders by the time the ball arrived. And what a quality finish from Windass. Dropping over his shoulder, and he just very calmly let it drop and coolly volleyed it into the bottom left corner like it was the easiest thing on earth. What a beautiful, cool, high quality technical finish there. I've used all my adjectives up for the season, but that was class and exciting to think that, yeah, he's lining up for us now. We continue to look on top at this stage and we're causing issues. Good ball down the right by Barnett. Allows Hardy to charge forwards. Keeper Hodges came out and he's a yard outside the box. He thought he'd beaten Hardy to it, swung a foot at it. Hardy nicked it away from him, but was forced wide, so he couldn't profit on the empty net. He did well to bring it back in, but when he drove the ball into the goalmouth, De Jong had got back from midfield and had done well to cover and get the ball clear. Then it was Groningen with a free kick about 25 yards out. Ressink drilling a good hit over the wall, skimming in and heading for the bottom left corner. Good save by Okonkwo, got across on the wall side of his goal and full stretch was able to push it around the post for a corner. But he was helpless 2 minutes later when we let in another rather sloppy looking goal. Prince cutting in on the left hand side about 30 yards out, sweeps the ball into the box. It's not the most promising angle for a cross because he's quite deep. He's got a striker trying to run in to attack it. It's arriving just over Scar's head, and Scar stretches and tries to get to it. He feels he's got to play it. I respect that, I understand that, but he can't get up high enough to make a proper contact, and it loops off his head, skidding cruelly over the players in the goalmouth, over Okonkwo, and fell at the far post where Willemsen, good instincts, followed it in and from a yard out had a simple cushion volley into an empty goal. I mean, in apportioning blame, I'm not sure Scar had to head it, if I'm honest. The cross was coming into the 6-yard box, like I said, not at the most promising angle. There was a good diagonal run coming in towards the near post, but I think O'Connor had covered it well and probably would have got there. And actually Okonkwo has committed himself and he may well have got there first. But then Scar doesn't know any of that because it's all happening behind him. And I think unless you get a shout as a centre-back, if you think you might be able to get your head to it, you've got to go for it, haven't you? So assuming he didn't get a shout, maybe we shouldn't be too harsh on him. Anyway, that was the half-time score. Wrexham came out very strongly at the start of the second half. O'Brien breaking down a left, pulling in a cross that was just behind Hardy, so he wasn't able to drill it in from close range. Then another breakdown a left, a really good advantage plays by the ref as Windass has wiped out, Kakache picked up the loose ball, drove down the flank and drilled a great ball into the goalmouth. Barnett arriving late was all on his own at the far post about 15 yards out, but Prince did well to cover and lunge in, and Barnett therefore had to take it first time, drilled it between Prince's leg, but the defender had forced him to hit it straight and it was a simple save. We kept coming on though. Barnett then on the right hand side, sweeping in a great cross, and Hardy, totally unmarked, 6 yards out, looked like he was going to score, but he missed it with his head. Maybe he got the tiniest of touches. Either way, he also distracted Windass, who'd also managed to get inside his marker and probably would have had a simple finish as well. Looked more like Hardy misjudged it than the cross was just out of his reach, in all honesty. So it was a big moment for Wrexham, which we could easily have been punished from, because Groningen went straight back up the other side. Renter certainly seemed to foul Kakache. It was surprising the ref didn't give it. And the ball was swept in accurately by the German fullback. And there at the far post, Van der Vaart was unmarked. Great chance for him. made contact with a really wild volley which went well off target. 15 yards out, only the keeper to beat. He had time to take a touch. Poor miss. Groningen in the closing stages actually looked stronger. At 2-1, they looked a bit more likely in the last 10 to get the next goal. Willemsen did well, holding the ball up and then finding Renter again driving forwards. He was one-on-one with Okonkwo, but his touch was horrible. He didn't even get a shot off, which is pretty criminal, having gotten to that sort of situation. Wrexham, our last chance, came with 6 minutes left. A corner. Matty James stood it up towards the edge of the area. Scar had already won one good header and put it into the goal mouth. He did it again, and Hardy was unlucky. About 4 yards out, back to goal. Made contact with his back heel. Didn't quite get enough power on it, though. And the goalkeeper, Hortus, was able to hack it away with his foot off the line to safety. 2 minutes from the end, the game was finally put to bed by Groningen. And again, like the other goals, a bit of a disappointing one to concede. A corner by the substitute holder to the near post. Really well-timed run by De Jong to the near post. Glancing header across the face. And Willemsen was there with another simple close-range finish, which again, I think spoke to his instincts when attacking the 6-yard box. He deserved it. And Groningen got the win. But it was a pretty even match. Although maybe as the game wore on, we were open to a bit more, maybe better quality chances falling the home team's way. Looking through the performances, well, I mean, Okonkwo beaten at his near post with the first goal, but I'm not sure that's the sort of near post one that you'd be hugely disappointed with. It was a powerful finish by him. He looked good in the air and dealt with crosses well. The centre-backs, occasionally we looked a touch disjointed. It's slightly surprising, as all three of them have played as the unit a lot last season. Cleworth looked good, to be fair. Didn't really see much going on in his part of the pitch. My old cliche about Cleworth. O'Connor went off injured near the end. Hopefully he's not too bad. Hopefully it was just a precaution. Aaron James came on, looked very smooth. And Scar, like I said, had just a couple of little moments where things were a bit awkward. He was left a little bit exposed, though, to be fair, I think, sometimes in the centre of the three. The wing-backs, Barnett was lively, maybe didn't quite get enough service in as he'd normally expect to. Kakache, well, okay, the first of the 4 new players absolutely looked class. I mean, what a lovely-looking player he is. He's quick. His quality into the box is so good. He was linking up really nicely with O'Brien and Windass. Yeah, this guy looked like he's what it says on the tin. Class player we brought in from Serie A. Oh, I'm just going to relish that sentence. Matty James, I thought, had a good game at the base of the midfield three. Tidy as ever on the ball. Got up quite well, winning the balls quite high up the pitch and getting onto loose balls when they were cleared on the edge of the Groningen area. Dobson, to his right, was in an interesting game. He was really prominent, especially in the second half. Some of his tackling was ferocious, but was usually on the right side of allowable. And he played some lovely balls in as well. That assist for Windass was very, very good. Wasn't consistent throughout the whole 90, but then that's what pre-season's there for. But I think he'd be pleased with the amount of work he put in. Lewis O'Brien, again, looks class. Tremendous energy. In that regard, like Rathbone, chasing things down. Tigerish tackler, but his runs into the box are really well timed and his use of the ball was good as well. And again, you can see what we've brought in there. High quality championship level, at least midfielder. Really, really good. Likewise, Josh Windass, classy. Dropping off, playing up front with Hardy, but sometimes dropping off. And we often looked a bit more like a box midfield, actually, with Hardy up front when we came forward and O'Brien and Windass either side of him, offering support. But Windass was all things to all men. He's so technical. He's got lovely touch. His takes on his chest of long balls was fabulous. And yeah, he again did what you expect. He looked like a baller, and that goal was beautifully taken. And Hardy, again, I mean, frustrating for Hardy, didn't get a goal, but he keeps making the sort of runs that players who score a lot of goals make. And I suspect that as we get the squad used to that more and more, I think those chances will come more easily for him. But I thought it was a busy performance by him. So there we are. A week to go, and we're all down to the south coast of what should be quite the experience. Wrexham round the gates to pre-season off with a defeat, but like I said, it's not the results you get in pre-season that really matter. It's the state you're at after pre-season. So keep your eyes peeled this week, because there's bound to be action at the club. And then on Saturday, wow, what a big fixture to start the season. We'll be down there, of course, doing the commentary on iFollow for the live stream. So look forward to, bringing you the game. The final score of FC Groningen 3, Wrexham 1. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.